In this video, you are going to find the center of mass of a plane with intercepts 2, 0, 0, 0, 5, 0, and 0, 0, 7 with the density x plus 2y plus 3z. Then you are going to find the moments. If you recall from my triple integral video, you will learn that an easy way to find an equation given these intercepts is to write down the coordinate value. So for x, it's 2, for y, it's 5, for z, it's 7. Now, you need to find out what is the least number, the minimum number that all of these can multiply by. So this case, it's 70. So set up your equation. Now, how many times does 2 go into 70? 2 goes into 70 35 times, so it's going to be 35x. How many times does 5 go into 70? 5 goes into 70 14 times, so it's going to be 14y. How many times does 7 go into 70? 7 goes into 70 10 times, so it's going to be 10z. So this will be your equation needed to find the mass. Okay, now that you have the equation, you want to set up the integral. So they give you the density, which is x plus 2y plus 3z. Now, let's put dz first. dz right here. To find z, the inner boundary for dz, you want to set this, solve z in this equation, solve for z. So you have 10z equals negative 35 minus 14 plus 70. Divide 10 on all of these values. You have, let's get a calculator right here. Negative 35 divided by 10 is negative 7 over 2. Negative 14 divided by 10 is negative 7 over 5. This, I forgot to write the variables, but this is x and y. So negative 7 over 2x minus 7 over 5y plus 70 over 10 is 7. So 7. This will be your inner boundary for z, the upper one. So you have negative 7 over 2x minus 7 over 5y plus 7. Now, what would the lower boundary be? The lower boundary would be 0, okay? Because this shape ends at z equals 0. Now, next step you want to do is to figure out if you want to do dy dx or dx dy after this dz. So you want to begin by setting z to 0, okay? So 35x plus 14y equals 70 because z is 0. Now, take these points, so x is 2 and y is 5, and graph it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay. 1, 2, okay. So this is x-axis, this is y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when x is 0, y is 5, and when y is 0, x is 2. This will be your shape. Now, you want to figure out whether to do dx or dy. So do you want a slider that goes up and down and slides left to right, or a slider that goes left to right and slides up to down? This is dx, this is dy, okay? Looking at this, I am going to do dx. So the slider will, from here to here, goes up and down. Therefore, it's gonna be one second. On second thought, I'm gonna do dy. Let's do this slider instead. Let me shape in the region. dy dx, okay? So slider will be like this and go from left to right. So what would the boundary for dy be? The boundary for dy, in order to find it, you need to solve for y here. So we have 14y equals negative 35x plus 70. Divide 14 on all these values. You get y equals negative 35 over 14 is negative 5 over 2 plus 70 over 14, you should get 5. There we go. So this is negative 5 over 2x plus 5. This will be your upper boundary, because this line right here determines how far up this region goes. Now the lower boundary is going to be 0 because this region ends at y equals 0. Moving on to finding boundaries for x. To find the boundary for x, take the slider and slide it to the leftmost part to find the lower boundary. It will stop right here, which means that the lower boundary is 0. Now take the slider, slide to the rightmost part. It will stop right here, which means the upper boundary will be 2. Therefore, your integral to find mass will be as such. Now let's move on to finding the moments. For this problem, you will have to find moment of xy, moment of yz, and moment of yx. No, zx or xz. And to find moments, the boundaries will be the same. The only difference is that for xy, the moment of xy, you are going to multiply the density by the missing variable, which is z. So we have x plus 2y plus 3z, dz, dy, dx, okay? Next up, for moment of yz, same thing, copy all of your boundaries. Negative 7 over 2, x minus 7 over 5, y plus 7, and 0. But you are going to multiply the density by the missing boundary, which in this case is x. X plus 2y plus 3z, dz, dy, dx. Now last but not least, for the moment of xz, copy all the boundaries, plus 5, negative 7 over 2, x minus 7 over 5, y plus 7. Okay, now we're going to multiply it by the missing variable, which is y. Plus 2y plus 3z, dz, dy, dx. So this will be your setup for moments.